Welcome to Viva.
Bandolero.
Welcome to Viva Physical Media.
I'm just shouting.
This is episode
55. 5. Yeah.
Yeah. That means we're halfway through 50.
And we're ever closer to your magical number of 100.
Ever
You can
closer
taste
to
it.
100.
You can
I
taste that shit.
right around the corner. Happy end of February.
It is the end of February.
End of February.
Valentine's Day has come and gone.
I hope you guys have had a romantic month, whether that means you're loving yourself or you're loving someone else. Ideally, you would love both. What's new in the shop? Here.
We've got new Scarecrow Academies coming up soon. Women in Trouble. Melodramas.
Oh God, I love melodrama.
So
I love a good melodrama.
Tune in for those. Those are Zoom discussions you can register for.
I took a melodrama class in college, part of my film studies degree, and it was really fun. It was like Douglas Sirk, and I was like, yes, let's fuck up.
I thought it was just a thing where like you had to act out.
Talk about my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that too. Both. We are beginning to plan out our live stream for the spring telethon. So
May 20th, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Day before my sister's birthday.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday,
17th
Kaylin.
birthday. Oh my God. So keep your eyes out for more information on that. We're going to have fun
That's
things.
going to be a good
I don't know.
day.
Maybe we'll shotgun more beers and I'll give myself a tattoo. Give
yourself a stick and poke yourself right on the air. That's a $10,000 donation right there.
Only if you lay down the big bucks.
But you get to call what she puts on herself. So.
Sure. Whatever.
I mean, for 10K?
I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
Give it up.
Yeah, for 10K, that doesn't go to me.
No, it doesn't go to you. That's why you're going to end up with like Robert Redford and Jeremiah Johnson just like looking at you going like that. You're going to get the Antonio Banderas
Yeah,
gift.
when can we start getting gift tattoos? It's 2023. Where's the future at?
Yeah, like fuck a flying car. I want a gift tattoo.
I want a gift tattoo. That's where are my gift tattoos? An article by Emily Soderback.
It's on Reductress next week.
SIF's coming up. I'm programming for them, so that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. If you haven't checked out our video where Matt talks to the CNN guy,
Oh yeah.
it's truly a delight. It's on the
delightful.
YouTube channel, so just like go back a few videos. Thank you guys so much. We
Yeah.
did a little rally and we got like 300 new followers in a couple days, which was kind of crazy.
That was spectacular, but
I think
also
it's one of those things where people don't think to like subscribe to YouTube, especially if they're not on it all the time.
like and subscribe is very important, so always do that. If you're watching this right now and you like it, hit the like
that
button.
thumbs up.
And then also, we need people to watch like a consistent amount of viewership hours. So just keep watching. That's all.
Never stop.
Go back and watch old ones if you haven't seen all the old ones.
When you're going to bed, just put us on and put us on mute.
Yeah, let us
Just like keep going.
let
keep
us
it
sing you
rolling.
to sleep every night.
The dulcet tones of me and Matt's beautiful, beautiful voices.
Mellifluous.
But then go back and forth between this and Suspense is Killing Us, and you just like will never stop listening
Beautiful.
to us.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous, honestly. Lullabies.
And now.
And now,
Is it
anything
time?
in your life though that's
No,
been
nothing
new?
I want to talk about right now.
Oh wow. So what do I have going on? Well, I have tooth pain right now, so hopefully I can not
broke my
complain about
tooth.
that for the rest of the episode. But
I'm sorry about your tooth.
It's okay. I'll probably just get it pulled on out on Monday.
Get your crank yanked.
Just get it cranked and yanked. Get my crank yanked. Going to Vancouver tomorrow with my friend Keegan. That'll be fun. And
Bring back some delicious food.
what do they have that we?
I don't know.
What did they have?
Canadian
that we
food.
don't? Oh, they have some.
I can't have poutine.
They have pretty crazy cool. They have pretty crazy cool candies there. They have some candies
Crazy
that I
Candy
really
Cool?
like.
Sexy cool.
Crazy Candy Cool. That was the last TLC record.
Yeah, Crazy Candy Cool. They have Aero bars and some other.
What's an
kinds of
Aero bar?
It's like a chocolate bar that's like has a bunch of air bubbles in it.
What?
It's really good.
Is it like Rice Krispie treats?
No, there's no Krispies. It's just air pockets. So it's like light and fluffy. I don't know how to explain. I'll bring you guys some back.
I
Do you
can't
guys
have
like
one.
chocolate?
I can't eat that
Why?
because I can't have dairy in any form. Sorry.
It's so hard for me to treat
I know,
you
I make it
nicely.
hard for
You
everything.
make it so hard for me to treat you nicely.
That's what every girlfriend I've ever had
No
has said.
cheese, no dairy,
Yeah.
no fun.
No fun.
All right, I'll just bring you back some hard
Not
drugs
fun,
from
yeah.
Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, I don't know, like, can you have, like, sour candies?
Sure.
Okay, maybe I'll find something cool. Anyways, I'll bring back something. What else? I don't think I have any other news.
I don't really have any news.
Okay.
I think it's time for, you know what it's time for.
I think I see the content warning right over there.
The following segment contains frank discussion of adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey perverts! Last time I promised sex, and baby, do I deliver. Today we're going to talk about In the Realm of the Senses. 1976, directed by Nagisa Oshima. This is a Japanese-French production because when they made this movie, to this day, Japan has a lot of censorship laws. So to get around that, they filmed the movie in Japan, but then they cut and edited it in France. There is a lot of sex in this movie. This is the most sex I've ever seen in a movie. I'm actually really curious to see how Rich is gonna cut and edit this clip because I don't think you're gonna be able to show anything. The movie follows the relationship of a maid who, well, she was a former sex worker. She starts a job at a hotel, and she begins an illicit affair with her master. Her name is Sada, and he is Kitchi. And their relationship takes on this sexual obsession that transcends everything else, even life itself.
What's that? Looks like foreshadowing?
It's a gnarly movie. So many triggers. It's very upsetting. There's assault, a smidge of child abuse, blood, gore. It's awesome. Everyone should watch it. Honestly, I love it so much. It's a beautiful movie. Just stylistically, it's lovely. A lot of colors. The movie starts off in the world, and then it slowly narrows as the obsession grows between the master and his servant. But then, as you know, one has a sexual relationship, it gets a little boring. So they start doing other kinky stuff. It's a movie with a lot of voyeuristic things in this movie, a lot of watching. There's an orgy, some interesting things with food. There are a lot of fun sex scenes in this movie, and I will describe them right now. So at one point, he takes an and he gives it up her
Flabby, happy babby.
and then and then another scene, they're having an toasty, and they're geishas, and they take a and they poor virgin geisha. She grabs, which is very upsetting. That's the upsetting bit. I know. And a lot of people didn't like that scene. I didn't like it either, but it's very brief. Oh, there's some sex.
何なんだって言ってんだよ私たちのこと変態だってなんだって
I love this movie. Actually, when I rewatched it for the second time, I pulled a Kevin and I did it with the commentary, which I highly recommend. It's on Criterion, actually, by the way. And the Criterion commentary is by a famous film historian named Tony Raines. And it was just fascinating because he talks about the culture of Japan when they were making this movie. Just a lot of historical context that you probably wouldn't get on the first viewing, because obviously you didn't grow up in 1930 Japan. Oh, okay, so this movie is actually based on a true fucking story, by the way, as well. This actually really happened. The character of Sada was a real woman. She had a relationship with her master, and it didn't end well. And the movie definitely builds up to that point. It's very... When the knives start coming out, I think is when it gets...
Hey, Kichi!
This movie deals with insatiable women, like just can't get enough.
ただ感受性が強いだけなんだってさ
But it's actually framed in like in a female gaze kind of way, like all her orgasms are shot with her face, like you'd never see the male orgasm. Oh, did I mention that this is all unsimulated sex? That's right, the actors are actually having sex in this movie. Hence why it was severely banned and censored in almost every part of the world when it came out in 1976. It was very controversial. I actually think the director got arrested for censorship in Japan. He actually made this movie pretext because he'd been censored so much before in his other movies, and he was like, I really want to like push the envelope and do something like what he really wanted to do, which was show sex and like on the Ico period time frame. It's very erotic. This it toes the line. Well, it actually brings up the question: what is art house cinema and what's pornography? And clearly, it's not pornography. But back then, in like the 1970s, especially in Japan, they're called pink films. Did you guys know this? It's like a pink porn industry, and a lot of the actors in this movie were actors from the pink films, just kind of like softcore pornography. They call them pink because that's the color of the flesh. But yeah, in Japan, you can show nudity, but you can't show genitalia. You see a lot of genitalia in this movie. This movie is also really interesting because the actor and actress who was in it, what happened to their careers is kind of fascinating. The male actor, his career had a little bit of a lull for a few years, and then he just took off. He was in a ton of movies. The actress, sadly, she got blacklisted, and she actually quit acting and moved to another country, which is really sad, and it sucks. Double standard. That shit still happens to this day. Less Caution is an example that happened. That movie only came out that long ago. So yeah, so that sucks. But it's a great movie. I really like it a lot. Side note, our friend Louise at Fantastic Fest did a Dick Destruction compilation, and this movie, spoiler, had a little bit of a cameo. So, something for you to enjoy. It's Realm of the Senses. Hope you like it. 5 out of 5 dildo birds.
おばあちゃん、精が出るね。
おかげさまで。
It's been a while, you guys, but we're
Time.
back.
We're back.
With another intense Raunch
Versus Rom.
In my corner of the ring, I have the Flamingo Kid from 1984, Gary Marshall.
I have Just Like Heaven from a year that is too dark in here to read. But I think it's from like 2005 or 2007 or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so my Raunch this time is the Flamingo Kid, Gary Marshall, 1984. Surprise, surprise, this was not a Raunch. I chose this because there was a barely dressed woman on a motorcycle, looks like a flamingo in the top, and then the summary in the back did a lot to kind of prompt the one last summer he can like finally get laid type vibe. Part of the Raunch thing was me trying to find movies that were marketed as Raunches and then to see if they were Raunches or not. So this is actually pretty good. This is actually a really charming and sentimental coming-of-age movie set in the 60s. Matt Dillon plays a kid in Brooklyn from working-class family who gets a job at this rich country club in Long Island. And
good for him.
Good for him. And he kind of works his way up to Cabana Boy. He falls in love with this woman, but it's really all about his relationship with his family and kind of a meditation on like class and family during this time. Even a little bit of race relations. His BFF's a black kid who's also a Cabana Boy. There are some funny raunchy stuff though. There's twin beefcake lifeguards. There's lots of bathing suit butts that we linger on. There's a contortionist teenage girl with her little toddler brother. That's kind of weird. There's,
Wow.
I mean, Matt Dillon's eyebrows are fucking great. And there's Hector Alonso or whatever,
Elizondo
as his father, and he does an absolutely spectacular job as a working class Brooklyn father. There is, like honestly, the Raunch has eluded me in this one. But it is, I think it's worth seeking out as like a pretty sweet, sentimental coming of age 80s movie. And the soundtrack also is like pretty killer. That's fine. I didn't have much to say.
Let's do it. Let's go.
All right, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
2005's Just Like Heaven. This is about Reese Witherspoon, who plays an ER doctor. She's very, very driven, angling for that promotion, spends way too much time, triangulating her career, doesn't have time for relationships. One night, she's had a really long day in the hospital. She's supposed to go to her sister's place for a blind date to have dinner with some strange dude. On the way to the date, she gets into a car accident and winds up in a coma. Ruh-roh. Cut to a few months later, Mark Ruffalo, recently widowed, very depressed, looking for a new apartment, ends up subletting Reese Witherspoon's apartment, hanging out there, drinking beers, eating pizza, being depressed, widowed, all that stuff all the time, until Reese Witherspoon's disembodied spirit starts telling him to get the fuck out of her apartment. They have to figure out what's going on. He has to convince her that she's comatose or dead or whatever. We haven't quite figured that out yet. And reunite her with her corporeal body. Along the way, there is a tremendously weird twist at the end that I absolutely cannot believe I fell for, but found very, very funny and enjoyable. Lots of good character actors. Also features the great Donald Logue, who I could just never get enough of. Big fan of that guy. And really enjoyed the twist. This is very sweet and charming. It sort of plays a little bit like Ghost, but it's definitely much more of a sort of a mismatched buddies comedy for most of its runtime. I thought the two lead performances were really charming. I love Mark Ruffalo in general. It's nice to see him play like just a regular nice guy instead of someone either deeply troubled or who turns very green. This turned out really sweet. I was very surprised. Usually when I encounter one of these old ROMs, they turn out to be not very good. I thought this was like pretty cute. I had a nice time with it. So yeah, Just Like Heaven, 2005. Check it out.
We have 2 seconds, but that's fine.
My closing statement for the Flamingo Kid, a legend in his own neighborhood. Hector Elizondo has a part in it where he's like arguing with his son, Matt Dillon, and he's pointing at all the things in the house that he owns, and he goes,
"This is my house. Understand? That's my chair, that's my table, that's my piano, my binoculars, my pictures. Is it that used to be my dog?"
He points to a framed photo of like a bulldog who I guess had passed away or something. It was a pretty funny scene. You know what? Even if this doesn't win as a Raunch, I think it's worth seeking out as a cute coming of age movie. What's your closing argument?
My closing argument is this hinges on such a ridiculous series of coincidences at the end that I found myself sort of knocked out by how much it worked on me.
Dang.
Like I just really didn't see it coming. It doesn't necessarily go in a strange direction. It's just like the way the narrative comes together at the end. You're like, oh, that was pretty clever, pretty
felt
cute.
like me with every movie with
Yeah,
a twist ever.
it definitely had it reminded me of an older screwball comedy where suddenly there are all these weird coincidences that sort of come out of nowhere and tie everything up really neatly. Cute movie. If you're in the mood for a rom-com and you haven't seen this one, it's worth checking out.
This might be a hard one. The Raunch continues to elude me.
Yeah, but you keep winning.
Hopefully the next one I grab will have a bit more TNA.
Dad, did you have potatoes tonight?
Oh, yes. Boiled.
How many potatoes do you think you'll eat before you die?
Okay. All right. It's not my fault you're the way you are. I just want you out of my house.
You get out!
The first movie I'm going to talk about is this indie I stumbled upon from our new release section called You Go to My Head.
A love that's there for others too.
This one follows kind of a familiar plot of a woman who gets amnesia and a man who pretends to be her husband. This woman wakes up in the desert after having a car crash. It's a French film.
I'm not French, I'm Belgian.
2017 by Dimitri
I get it now.
Clerc. Which is interesting. This guy has directed nothing since 1995. He directed one movie that I really want to see. It looks like a weird erotic thriller type thing. She wakes up in the desert. She's in a car wreck. This man she's with is dead, and she climbs out, and we just see her kind of wandering the desert. She is rescued by a man who is some sort of architect, he's like a environmental architect. So he'll take the environment into consideration in his designs. I don't know, I'm not a fucking scientist, but it's something like that.
You see, if you can bind the grains of sand together, you can create structures built right into the sand, structures that people could actually live in.
He's thinking of some way to make the sand help with the buildings. I don't know. Like I said, it's French.
I'm not French, I'm Belgian.
We quickly realize she has amnesia. He is so lonely, and when the doctor, he's so lonely in his crazy looking fucking weird architect,
his weird sand house.
modern sand house. When the doctor who comes and sees this woman is like, your wife is going to be okay.
Votre femme est toujours sous le choc.
Ma femme?
He's at first like, oh, she's not. Oh, wait. Yeah, my wife will be okay. And he's like, wait a minute. If she has amnesia and I'm fucking lonely, but also rich, I can be her husband. So she kind of wakes up and she's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm your husband. You had a nasty spill, blah, blah, blah. She should, I mean, honestly, I don't mean to victim blame or anything, but once she hears that, like, oh, all of our photo albums were lost in a fire. Like,
why don't we have any furniture? It looks like nobody even lives here.
We were decorating before the baby and...
you know, oh, you don't have any family, they all died, stuff like that. You would kind of, you know.
Red flag.
It's one of those movies that's beautifully shot. It's in the middle of the desert, very beautiful. His house is really weird, modernist, minimalist design. And their relationship, you're almost rooting for it because they're clearly having some chemistry, but then also you're like, is he going to murder her? I'm like, is he gonna fucking just like kill her once she finds out? Because I was like, I don't know what kind of movie I'm watching here. So there's a tension that is under the surface of this that kind of bubbles to a boiling point towards the end where she does eventually realize that maybe he's not telling the truth. And I won't go any further than that because it is interesting where that goes.
Does it have a part where like she gets bonked on the head again and that just makes everything come back?
No.
That never happens in movies, but it happened in all the
cartoons.
cartoons where somebody got amnesia.
In my Letterboxd review, I said it was kind of Carnival Souls-esque meet Art House Overboard, which I believe in Overboard she does get bonked again, and that's how she goes back. Yeah. Very beautiful movie, very tense at times, and just they do a great job. It's very character driven. There's only like 3 people in this entire movie, and it really kept me entranced the entire way through. And I am going to definitely look up his one other movie from 1995. It's very strange, that big gap in time, but maybe he got amnesia as well. Who knows?
I forgot to make a movie, Sacre Bleu.
He got double bonked, now he's back behind the camera. So, You Go to My Head, 2017. Check it out.
My pick is Brian De Palma's Passion. Man, this movie fucking rips. It was so good. I've seen this before. It was an old favorite of mine, but I rewatched it for the purposes of this episode.
It was red Blu-ray too.
I know. It's so good. I feel like unheralded as a late Brian De Palma jam.
I saw this in theaters. I didn't love it, and then I revisited later after I had become more of a fan of De Palma, and I was into it a lot more.
So into it.
Yeah.
And just like Femme Fatale, this is sort of like a greatest hits. It's like a compendium of all of the shit that he does
Rachel
best.
McAdams.
Oh man,
it's so good.
Let me tell you, Brian De Palma's known for his adamant male gaze. You know, he is constantly talking about how he likes to photograph beautiful women. This movie is chock full of them. It is just one gorgeous babe after another. So Rachel McAdams plays Christine, and she is a high-powered advertising executive.
# girl boss.
And one of her underlings is Noomi Rapace. And Noomi Rapace comes up with a really innovative commercial for a new cell phone.
I just got a great idea for the campaign. Could you come over?
You're the boss.
Yeah. And bring the tightest pair of jeans you've got.
And the commercial is her really sexy redheaded assistant puts the cell phone in her back pocket with the video camera turned on, and the video is just like all of the dudes checking her ass out.
I love my ass.
I mean, it's pretty smart.
It's great. That sort of becomes, you know, a sort of a sensation at the ad agency, but Rachel McAdams like steals the idea and takes credit for it.
You're shocked because I took credit for your idea.
Also, there's like a hint that Rachel McAdams is like very attracted to Noomi Rapace and wants to have like an affair with her.
There. That's lovely. You keep that.
Oh, no, I can't accept that.
Yes, you can. I think we make a really good team.
And Noomi Rapace is having an affair with Rachel McAdams' boyfriend, Dirk.
Don't call me. Don't text me. Go back to work.
So, a little later on, Noomi Rapace, Isabel, basically exposes that Christine, or basically takes credit, manages to take credit back for the idea and sort of sabotages Christine's like big promotion. And then Christine gets revenge on her by blackmailing her with the video that she made with her boyfriend cheating on her with Noomi Rapace.
Hey, you're late. And I can't see you. You have your camera on? Dirk.
Guess again. It's me.
It's like a whole convoluted,
it's a whole scheme.
Levels within levels of these guys betraying each other. Then, halfway through the movie, Rachel McAdams gets murdered in this amazing split screen sequence that's like cross-cut with somebody like Black Glove Giallo stalking Rachel McAdams with a ballet, a performance of Afternoon of a Faun, which is like sort of a subtextual element to the story. And it just goes even more and more haywire from there. It's like one great Brian De Palma sort of set piece after another. He uses a lot of the, like sort of the tropes of his filmmaking. Again, I already mentioned all the sexy women, but like voyeurism, people watching each other, cameras taking pictures of people, video cameras, especially later. Identity shifting. And then at the end, there's like multiple dream fake outs, just 1, 2, 3 on top of each other. And it's tight, like 95 minutes. It just oozes De Palma. If you're a fan, I can't imagine that you wouldn't think that this is one of his best movies. It's just so good, especially for a late period film of his. Man, it's just great.
Because what is this, 2013?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I think this came out when I was working at a movie theater.
Oh, it's so awesome. I loved revisiting it. And if you haven't seen this one, or even if you have and haven't checked it out in a while,
revisit it, because I changed my mind on it totally after a few years of not seeing it.
It's great. And keep an eye out for the constant subtext about Medusa, which is very important in the movie. There you go. Passion, Brian De Palma.
She can be very generous sometimes. She gave me a very beautiful scarf.
She gave you my scarf.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
Oh, hi. It's me. I'm here still. We're back again? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I live in the walls or something.
Yeah.
I just sort of...
You shrink down and live in the bucket.
I didn't show up for mailbag or anything this time, so you guys are just totally taken by surprise.
Yeah, I am. It's a nice surprise, though.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good.
Gosh, our fans get a double dose because last episode you were on too.
I know. You're welcome.
We'll take you as long as you're here,
And I'm gonna be around. I'll be in it. I thought I'd do some picks too.
Yes, please.
How about that? That's cool.
Sir.
To preface this one, it was because I actually watched the Criterion edition of Love Jones yesterday, which is great. Everybody should check that out. And it reminded me of another Chicago romance that takes place between two black people in the 90s. I guess technically it takes place in the late 80s, but it is Southside With You. And what this is about is Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's first date. And it's a movie a lot of people haven't seen, and I think it's really sweet. I remember watching it and thinking, like, that was great. And it doesn't hammer home the point at all.
It's not like a president movie.
It's never like, it doesn't preface it by going like, this is the important time, or end with going like, and then they became president and first lady and shit.
You want some?
Sure.
It's just this nice little thing. These two different people who are like, all right, I guess I'll go out on a date with this person.
Barack, you seem like a really sweet guy. But how many times do I have to tell you we're not going out together?
Well, Michelle, thank you for saying that. You seem like a real sweet girl. But I have to correct you. We are, in fact, out, and we are, in fact, together.
Have like a meet cute and have a whole first date, and they go to see Do the Right Thing. There's a whole encounter with Michelle Obama. I can't remember her last name. I'm terrible. I don't remember her last name before it was Obama. But Michelle and her like white legal colleagues after the movie. Obviously, differences of opinions of what Do the Right Thing was about.
So, you got around to seeing the movie, I take it?
Yes, we did. In fact, I was just explaining to Michelle how angry that ending made me. Why would the delivery man have thrown the trash can through his employer's window? He must have known his actions would cause the mob to riot. It seemed totally irrational.
But allegedly, Barack Obama and Michelle went on their first date to see Do the Right Thing. There's not much to this movie, except it's just a very sweet
It's like a
movie.
Before Sunrise. Like,
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's like
it's them
like
walking
one
and
date.
talking.
It starts with Barack driving around in his like shitty car, like a
cigarettes.
Yep. He is absolutely smoking cigarettes, and he's got this shitty car, and he's working as a volunteer for some organization or whatever, and she's more upwardly mobile than he is. It's sort of almost like an Odd Couple thing, but we know what happens is that they become presidents and stuff. It's this very sweet little movie, and I don't know. When I watched Love Jones yesterday, I thought like, oh, this is because it also takes place in Chicago, and it's a very Chicago movie. And I've only been to Chicago once for 2 days, but I loved it, and I recommend everyone go. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. I just was like, I'm gonna pop in and do some pics of some movies I saw.
I think this is a good one because I feel like when it did come out, there was a lot of buzz about it, especially in like festivals and stuff, and then no one really talks about it. So I think it's a good job like coming in and reminding people that this is actually a pretty worthwhile film.
Yeah, and like I said, it's small, it's sweet. It's cute. It gets a few issues here and there, but it's not trying to reinvent the wheel or do anything. It's not trying to like necessarily dig deep or, like I said, be like, here's the origin story of this couple. It's just like, hey, here's this first date, and these people became the president, and like these people were also just like a couple of young people at one point who were like trying their fucking hardest, and they went on a date to see Do the Right Thing, and and then he became president. Anyway, Southside With You. Love it.
You want the God's honest truth about my folks?
Sure.
Okay. My mother thought Harry Belafonte was the most handsome man on the face of the planet. I'd say chocolate was her favorite flavor, too.
My second pick is a movie called Lowlife from 2017.
Okay.
This is a crazy movie. There's so much going on. At first glance, you could be like, oh, this is going to be like one of those like Pulp Fiction-y ripoffs because there's like a million different characters and they all kind of like...
There's a pull quote on here that says,
I
a
didn't even see
ridiculously entertaining, worthy successor to Pulp Fiction. And
I didn't even see that pull quote.
I go,
no, thank you.
Okay.
But it's only in that way because it's like a kind of like a black comedy crime thriller with a bunch of different characters that intertwine, and Pulp Fiction doesn't own that. We all agree that in the 90s there was a lot of ripoffs that are of Pulp Fiction that were like really bad or whatever. This is just a movie, you know what I mean?
That's fine.
There's 1,000 different characters in this, and we're kind of seeing all of their different stories leading up to a moment of possible organ stealing and kidnapping that takes place at this motel in seedy Los Angeles. We're introduced to this luchador who goes by El Monstruo.
Porto la máscara del monstruo, el ejecutador de venganza, héroe del pueblo mexicano.
Suena bien pendejo.
And he is a luchador because his family, like every man in his family, has always been like a heroic luchador, but he's kind of fallen on weird times, so he's very shameful about it, and he helps this crime lord named Teddy kidnap young girls for organ harvesting.
Okay.
Monstruo, viniste. Sabía que nos ibas a proteger. Ella dijo, el monstruo nos va a ayudar.
Yo no soy ese monstruo.
He's impregnated the crime lord's adopted daughter, and they have a kid on the way, and he's excited for that son to be born so he could pass on the luchador mask and everything and have him kind of reclaim what's proud about that whole thing and not be like a piece of shit.
El legado del monstruo es todo. Mi hijo será criado en la cuna de los lobos.
Estás lastimando. You are hurting me.
Como lo hice yo, como lo hizo mi padre y todos los monstruos anteriores.
She wants nothing to do with this like crime family or whatever. Meanwhile, there's a couple of drug addicts who own this motel. They are actually the real parents of the pregnant woman who's the adopted daughter of the crime lord. Oh. And the husband needs a kidney transplant. And so they hear that the daughter, who they've never met, has offered to give them one of their kidneys.
But, you couldn't ask for a better setup, medically speaking.
Why is Kaylee helping us with this? She hasn't even met us.
Little do they know, that's not true. They're going to kidnap that daughter and harvest one of their organs. It's going to be a whole thing. There's also a couple of ex-convicts. One of the guys goes and picks up his buddy after he gets out of jail.
Yeah.
That for me?
His buddy comes out, he has a swastika tattooed on his face. He acts like nothing's the matter, and eventually the guy's like, dude, you have a swastika tattooed on your face. Like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, I had to do it, like, to survive in prison. But I love you. You know, man, I'm not like this. Like, I just had to get this done.
Ma'am, not cool calling me a Nazi. You don't know my struggle.
This all culminates into this hyper-violent scene at this seedy motel in Los Angeles, where different things happen for different characters, which I won't go further into. It was pretty funny. There's a lot of insane violence. They go hard on the gore, which I always love and respect. Yeah, it's a black comedy. I chuckled out loud a few times. It also does have a lot of heart. It wasn't as eye-rolly as it sounds on paper. The characters were well thought out. It was very character-driven. I was rooting for a lot of them, like a lot of good anti-heroes here. This guy, the director Ryan Prowse, hasn't done anything. He did a segment on VHS 94, so I think he's just really starting out. And I know this is in 2017, so I'm kind of like, where's your next? What are you doing, buddy?
What are you doing? Come on, Ryan.
Come on,
Ryan.
Come on, Ryan Prowse.
Where's your next movie?
Really good interlocking stories, really interesting flawed characters, good gore, funny dialogue. If you're looking for kind of like a twisty cult crime melodrama type thing, black comedy, try out Lowlife.
Lo siento.
Today I'm going to talk about a movie that I have wanted to revisit for a very long time. I finally got around to doing just this very morning. John Singleton's 1993 film, Poetic Justice.
Ooh, good movie.
This movie was delightful.
It is, actually.
It's great.
Yeah.
This is his follow-up to Boys in the Hood. I almost said Boys to Men. Different thing.
John Singleton's Boys to Men. He directed that band
Yeah.
to stardom.
To stardom. This was really good. You know, it says it's a street romance, but that's like pretty misleading, I think. I mean, it is a romance. It's a romantic drama at heart. More than anything else, that's what it is.
Sell it, right?
Yeah. So Janet Jackson plays the titular Justice. She works in a hair salon and she writes poems.
Alone, lying thinking last night how to find my soul a home where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong.
She's recently grieving the murder of her last boyfriend, who was killed in a shooting at the beginning of the movie. And by the way, there's a really great opening sequence. I don't know if you remember this, where the movie starts with a movie within the movie. Billy Zane is this rich guy, and he's in his penthouse apartment, and he's like seducing Lori Petty.
Oh, that's right.
You know, the last time I saw a woman drink like that, she was drowning.
Really? Did she die?
I don't know, it was just a lifeguard.
That turns out that that's a movie that the characters are watching at the drive-in, and it's called Deadly Widow or something, and then it ends with her like shooting Billy Zane a bunch of times. It's really fucking cool. So her boyfriend gets killed in this shooting, and so she's sort of still grieving that.
What, you still in mourning? Sporting black, looking toe up from the floor up.
And like sort of wondering where her place is in the world. She's feeling like she's not reaching her potential. And we sort of get a lot of indications of that because we are hearing her read her poems to us in voiceover. Meanwhile, her co-star in this is Tupac Shakur, and he plays Lucky, who is a postal worker.
You got a little spare change, man?
Nah, but I got a spare stamp so you can mail your ass a job application.
And he also wants to do something else. He wants to be somewhere else in his life. He has a daughter that lives with her mother who is addicted to drugs. He's trying to figure out, you know, how to best take care of her. He wants to get out of being a postal worker. He wants to start a music career with his cousin.
And what you cleaning up for? This place look fucked up as normal.
And sort of the bulk of the movie is the two characters sort of end up getting thrown together in this situation where Tupac is going to go drive his mail truck to Oakland. It takes place in Los Angeles, but he's going to drive it to Oakland to pick up a load of mail, and he's going to rendezvous with his cousin who lives there, and they're going to do some music stuff, and then the idea is they'll drive the mail back. And Justice and her friend, played by Regina King, go along because there's like a hairstylist convention in Oakland that they're going to go to too.
And another dude, right?
And another dude, it's Regina King's boyfriend, Joe Torre, who's like a comic, and he's really good in this movie too. All the main, like the core four cast members are really, really terrific in this. But mostly like the chemistry between Jackson and Tupac is just off the charts.
Nasty. I don't want none of that dirty blonde.
They're both just great performers, not, you know, what you would think of traditionally as actors, but like right out of the gate, just do this incredible job. They have such chemistry together, and it's just really a shame that we didn't get more acting performances out of either of them.
Yeah.
You know, Shakur, he did a lot of really good movie work before he passed away.
I think we would have gotten more from Tupac Shakur. Janet Jackson, it seems like she did this and then was like, I don't know.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Maybe I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, she's at the height of her powers and of her beauty in this movie. She's just extraordinary in it. What I really liked the most about this movie beyond that was how much of the movie is spent dealing with these young black women, talking about their desires, their sexual ideas, how they want relationships to go, what they think of the men around them in their world. That's the bulk of the story, is just all the different female characters discussing these things amongst themselves. It's almost kind of theatrical. The writing is very playish. And then on top of that, it's very, very well directed, especially given that it's dealing with all of these different characters sort of negotiating these different parts of their lives. It's vaguely Fellini-esque at times. There's also like a running thread about black masculinity and how it affects these women, and also the way that they're constantly sort of under some vague threat by law enforcement. There are many, many scenes where there's just vague police action going on in the background.
Just get out of here. Let's do our job.
I think you feel better if you talk about it.
And you need to quit playing them video games and figure out what you're gonna do with your life, boy. Time ain't forever.
And a few scenes, especially where the flashing red and blue lights are just sort of ominously in the background. And then, without spoiling anything, it ends sort of dramatically with something pretty important happening. In that sense, it gets a little messy. The movie doesn't really stick the landing. It's trying to say probably a little too much, but I liked that it was trying to say so much.
That was John Singleton's way.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much because I feel like he's sort of trying to follow up Boys in the Hood.
Right.
But this might have been better served had it been just a simpler drama between the two characters.
Yeah.
However, I love what he did with it. He really comes out strong. It makes me, I was looking at his filmography today, and he actually didn't really make that many movies. You know, it's like it's like 10 maybe.
It's sad because he came out of the gate with Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
And then this, and he was writer director, and it was like who's this kid? And then by the end of his career,
but you know, like Four Brothers, I don't think is too good, or that Shaft with Samuel Jackson, it's okay. Has good things in it. Baby Boy's all right. Yeah. He didn't. Did he direct that one?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah, you know, there's good. It's not like he made a bunch of clunkers after that. Like Higher Learning's pretty good too.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't finish strong.
No.
This is great. This might be my favorite of his films.
Wow.
I'd have to revisit some of the others, but off the top of my head, having just watched this morning, I thought this was terrific. Well worth revisiting if you haven't seen it in a long time or seeing for the first time too.
Absolutely.
Check it out, Poetic Justice for sure. Awesome movie.
Definitely.
My bags, my stuff. Wait a second. White boy.
Oh, hi guys, I'm back. It's me again.
Christ.
Huh?
What?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What are you fucking
Back from the dead for revenge.
Yeah, right. And you drinking pizza?
Pizza bear. There's a pizza man on here.
Pizza's on there. That's adorable. I guess it's like thematically connected to my last movie, sort of, and to Matt's. But my next pick is Spike Lee's Crooklyn.
Hell yeah.
The reason I picked this actually is because I've been watching the Spike Lee Masterclass recently. He talks about directing independent movies, and he mentioned Crooklyn. I was like, oh yeah, fucking Crooklyn's great. I just want to talk about it because it's an underrated Spike Lee joint. Like, it's one of the ones that I feel like people don't give credit to a lot. Like, people always talk about Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, you know, they skip over a bunch.
And rightly so, but...
Right, exactly. I mean, I think he's one of the best to ever do it, and and I think this is one of his best movies. This is basically autobiographical about him growing up in Brooklyn in the 70s. Alfred Woodard plays his mom.
You like a pig. She like a cow.
Delroy Lindo plays his dad.
Damn, it's a compliment to you good cooking. Now,
Delroy Lindo especially.
Delroy Lindo, like longtime Spike Lee MVP.
Absolutely.
You know, you really kill me. I mean, on the one hand, you come down here telling me about yet another mistake Woody done made. But when I'm sitting at that piano, trying to do my work, trying to concentrate, you won't let me do that neither. I mean, you got a beef with that. I don't know what to do.
And it's just sort of what it was like back in the day growing up there, you know.
How many times have you been left back? You stupid ass dummy! So you
mother's a
You got some money for right hand in my main man Snuff. Give it up.
You know, it's a good counterpoint to some of Spike Lee's other movies, like Do the Right Thing a little bit. Although Do the Right Thing has a similar vibe, this is more. It's a little more innocent or naive because it's sort of memories of when he was a child growing up. And he's actually not the main character. There's a character in the movie, one of the kids that is Spike Lee.
Shut up, you flat-chested wench. Just for that, you're not getting any. And I'm telling Ma you call me an evil flat-chested wench. Go ahead, tell. You are evil flat-chested wench.
And it's not the main character. It's like this is one of the annoying little brothers who's like just wants to watch fucking basketball all the time or whatever.
Come on, let's watch the Knicks.
But the main character is like a little girl, one of the sisters. So I think that's kind of funny that Spike Lee's like, no, I don't want to be it's not about me, but I'm in it. I'm this piece of shit over here. That's me.
Stupid! Hate you!
I'm this annoying kid. I don't know, maybe Spike Lee doesn't think that, but when you watch the movie, you feel that.
Right.
But this movie has, like Southside With You, it doesn't have like a lot of crime or like, gang activity or whatever. It's just sort of the innocence of growing up. And there's like one sequence that's really interesting. If you watch this movie, you'll think your TV's fucked up.
I was going to ask you about this.
Because Spike Lee, this is an intentional choice, and it's fucking weird, where she goes out of town to her aunt's house, I think.
It's like in the South, like she's like North Carolina or something like that.
He takes the aspect ratio and squishes it.
If you shot it with an anamorphic lens but didn't put the lens on the projector.
But projected it incorrectly, so it's stretched and squished or whatever.
Everybody's got anamorphic diet.
And so you're going to watch this movie and all of a sudden she'll go on vacation and it'll be like squished. And he did it on purpose because it was supposed to be alienating. Because the whole time this girl's there on vacation with her family in the South, she's like, what the fuck is this shit?
I don't want to stay here.
And you're supposed to feel that way, and you really feel that because you're like, why the fuck is the film all of a sudden fucked up? Because you're not watching a film, you're watching a DVD, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Why is this messed up? Anyway, it's a pretty ballsy choice. I don't know if it works, but it's cool, and it's just another example of Spike Lee being like a wild director.
Wait, you're gonna tell me not to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Well, Crooklyn, I feel like is still an overlooked gem in his filmography, and everyone should check it out.
I think this would make a cool double feature with a favorite movie of mine called Emma May.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're very different movies, but they have some common. They talk to each other.
Okay.
Yeah. It's great. Did you love it? I did. It's fucking great.
She whooped ass.
Yeah.
Well, there you do. There you do. There you go.
There you do.
Do that.
Do you go?
All right.
So our dog movie for today is the beautiful, gorgeously filmed
piece of garbage,
piece of art, cats and dogs. Which I continue to think of in my head as cats versus dogs, but it's cats and dogs.
It's basically what it is, though.
I saw this in theaters. I texted my mom that I was watching this. She was like, oh, I think I saw that in theaters. And I was like, yeah, you were probably with me. What the fuck, Mom? It's not like you went alone to this.
Or?
Yeah, I don't know. So this is 2001. Lawrence Guterman. I can't read my own handwriting. Guterman. And you know it's good because this guy directed Son of Mask.
Don't you just love Halloween?
God.
And that's it.
A movie literally nobody has seen.
We put it all in the store.
Not even Jamie Kennedy has seen Son of the Mask.
Who's that green guy?
So this opens with Buddy the Bloodhound, who is immediately chasing a cat up a tree and catapults her into a kitchen, ruins pie.
It's a whole pie thing.
My beautiful pie.
In reality, that cat was a
spy. And so was Buddy.
And so is Buddy.
Because the whole premise of this movie is that the dogs and the cats are all secret agents.
And the dogs are protecting the families, especially this one family.
Well, the cats are evil. The cats are the bad guys.
They want to take over the world.
The dogs are G.I. Joe. The cats are Cobra.
Sure.
The dogs are Mask. The cats are Venom. The dogs are Inspector Gadget, the cats are Dr. Claw.
Okay, I keep going half with you, but I'm
The
just
dogs
not
are the
fully...
Roadrunner, the cats are Wile E. Coyote.
I guess, yeah, that's sure. So Buddy the Bloodhound gets catnapped.
Yeah, I guess.
By a van that's driven by cats.
Cat van.
Yeah. Well, he is specifically catnapped because the house that he lived at is housing a scientist. And
Jeff
that
Goldblum.
Scientist is Jeff Goldblum.
And his
Completely-
wife, Elizabeth Perkins.
Jeff Goldblum is off his fucking rocker
Yeah.
in this. He's full Goldblum, like mumbling to himself.
Oh! 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 I forgot.
No, I know.
I had a breakthrough and
He's full of beans.
For chili dogs.
Oh,
jelly dog, jelly dog.
He's trying to find a medication that will make him stop being allergic to dogs.
That will stop the dog allergy completely. And the cats don't want that to happen.
They actually
because
want it to be the opposite.
they want it to be the opposite. They want everybody to be allergic to dogs because they want to have dominance over the dogs.
So they keep trying to infiltrate this house, and that's why it's so essential that once that bloodhound got catnapped, the home base of FBI, headed by Alec Baldwin, which I could not deal with.
Butch.
We've got a serious problem.
I couldn't. I was like, I better smoke a lot of weed to watch this movie, and then I watched it, and like Alec Baldwin was the lead guy, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna watch it.
The text you sent me that just said, I'm too stoned to watch this movie.
And yet I watched the whole thing. So that shows how powerful I am.
So they get a new dog.
They're supposed to get it trained dogs.
Yes.
Trained dogs for this like kind of FBI, CIA type
But
thing.
they get a rookie instead.
He weaseled his way into the barn.
It's a little beagle named Lou.
Instead of the Doberman puppies that were all like trained.
The Doberman puppies were my favorite part of this terrible movie, where they all go, not good!
Not good!
Lou the beagle, who is very naive.
And his name is Lou because it's short for loser. Which I loved.
Yeah.
Why don't you name him?
Okay, how about loser? It's a dog, Mom.
And that was the part of the movie that I couldn't get my head around was like, the
dog hated the dog.
The boy lost his dog, Buddy.
Do you remember how happy we were when we found Buddy? I bet he's making a new family just as happy right now.
But the parents got him a new dog, and he's like, I don't like this fucking dog. This
dog's
dog
a
sucks. This is a loser. Man, no little boy hates his dog.
Yeah, or like calls him a loser.
I mean, I call my dog dumb all the time, but she doesn't speak English, and then I cuddle her while I'm doing it, so it's fine.
Mixed signals, love it.
I know.
Men, am I right?
Fucking guys.
He replaces Buddy, and he is actually not a spy, but everyone thinks he's like from the academy or whatever, so they're all confused as to why he's fucking up.
Yeah.
Because he meets the neighborhood unit, I guess is what you
The
call it.
unit?
The unit.
Yeah.
The absolute unit.
Anyway, Lou here's taking over for Buddy. He's in the hot seat. But being fresh from the academy, he's no doubt up to date on the latest techniques. Aren't you, Lou?
Hey, you guys know this one? Here we come. I got you. Oh, I just missed you.
That's right, I'm up on all the latest stuff. How could this have happened?
It was an accident. He slipped through.
You promised me a professional.
Basically, it's all about these cats trying to break into Jeff Goldblum's lab and fix it so that the antidote is switched so that the entire world becomes allergic to dogs.
Yes.
And they could rule.
Yes.
Jeff Goldblum is a very clumsy scientist, of course. You can imagine him being very Jeff Goldblum-y, and that's exactly
no
like
Ian
how
Malcolm
he
here.
is. And he, at one point,
No
he
Ian Malcolm, he's no Seth Brundle.
He leaves, but at one point he does get a bunch of hives on his face, and I was like, it's kind of like the fly. He leaves his basement lab at one point because for some reason he's doing it in his home. It's an independent research, I guess. And there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of, what are they called? Beakers?
Vials? Flasks
of chemicals, and they're finally bonding. They're playing soccer. The dog kicks the soccer ball. It goes downstairs and ruins the lab. Everything's
But that's
trash.
what solves the problem.
I know, but initially I was like, what the fuck? Because that's, if a chemical spill of that severity would definitely like be real dangerous.
Okay.
I was like,
all right, Professor.
they're gonna fucking, like, they're gonna fucking die.
Mr. Wizard just shows up and he's just lit.
If it's too high, what do you do?
But instead it creates the right allergy medicine. Thank goodness.
You know what my favorite part of this movie was?
What?
This is the scene. This is the only thing that I thought was funny, but it made me laugh out loud. Like I thought it was absolutely hilarious when Alec Baldwin is telling Tobey Maguire about the history of cats. And he's like, you see these?
Wait, is that Tobey Maguire's
It's Tobey
voice?
Maguire, yeah. He's telling about the history of the cats. He's like, you see these ancient Egyptian, you see these hieroglyphs from ancient Egypt? It looks like the ancient Egyptians worshipped cats.
But in reality, they were ruled by them. Some evil cat named Shanak Akamman, he forced them to build pyramids, monuments, generally treated them like they were his litter box.
And he tells like this whole story about how cats were actually like secretly just like despotic dictators. And then Toby Weir is like, what's ancient Egypt? It's great. So funny.
I have to point out that these animals, this was how it was made. I don't know how it was made, but
it's
it's
CGI
like
mouth
it's
talking.
the mouth. It's the fake mouth, which you can find in Santa Buddies, etc., where they actually move the lips. But also, and it's 2001, so the CGI was like really off-putting and strange. And they additionally use puppets.
Yes.
Like
to augment the digital work.
And it's so weird. It's almost cool when they use the puppets, right?
No, it's like
cool.
No, I don't think it's cool.
It's a little cool. They only use the puppet for Joey Pants' dog.
What the? Oh my dog! Peak's early warning. He's got it all. Radar, sonar.
This like weird, I don't know what those dogs are called, but they're like hairless little, they kind of look like chihuahuas. They're like that little, but then they have a lot of hair on the top. I don't know. I found a picture of Joey Pants and that dog that he voiced, because I guess there was a real dog, putting the dog's paws in the Hollywood stars, the Walk of Fame.
I did kind of enjoy
That was
like
cute,
when the
though.
dogs would be talking and supposed to like have some expression about like maybe they're scared or maybe they're happy or excited, and the mouth is and the voice is doing that, and then the dog's eyes and eye line are like I'm bored or not paying attention, or I'm looking over here but I'm talking about this. The dogs are just completely like not doing any kind of performance. Pretty strange.
We had the bad cat, the main bad cat was this big white Persian
Mr.
cat.
Twinkle was his name, or Mr. Winkle?
And make them quake in fear at the very mention of my name!
Mr. Tinkers!
It was Sean Hayes from what's the name of that show? Porgy and Bess, that's right.
And then his henchman was John Lovitz.
Project Dark Cloud should go down without a hitch. Dark Cloud? Is that what I'm calling my plan? Dark Cloud? Not that I know of. No, you're calling it a... How about Storm? Storm!
That's right. Who I would have preferred to have been the villain.
Yeah, me too. At some point, they just weekend at Bernie's, a sick old man.
Yes, that's me, your employer, Mr. Mason. Not an evil cat bent on taking over the world. Out of my way.
Yeah, for a long time.
For a really long time.
It's like 20 minutes.
In order to get the...
In order to what?
Exactly. They get the...
To get the thing that I don't remember.
I don't know.
Lots
And it
of-
is revealed that people can hear them speak if they choose to.
Now you can look just like me.
No, I think not, Sophie. Those days are through. What's the matter, Large Marge? Cat got your tongue?
Which is very startling.
Lots
Yeah,
of
they
good
have to
boys
play-
in this, though. I will say that.
Yeah, when they don't do the fake thing or they don't do the puppetry, you do see a lot of like pretty good dogs. I didn't find much info on where they came from or who they were.
Me either.
R.I.P.
I turned it
to
off as soon as
almost
it
all
ended.
of
I did
them,
not watch the
assume.
credits.
I didn't either. And obviously they like come to the dogs win.
Yeah, the dogs win.
To remain silent.
You have a right to remain silent.
Anything you say can and
Anything
will
you
be
say
used
can
against
and
you.
will be used.
You have the right to an attorney.
You have a right
It's
to
a
an
dog
attorney.
And then Mr. Twinkle or Winkle or whatever his name is has
He
to
gets
go live
adopted
with
by like the
Miriam
maid.
Margoyles, and he has to go live with her and her sisters.
And she lives with all her maid sisters. They all just wear their maid uniforms
Yeah.
in their house. And they also love making little outfits for the
They make him
cat.
wear a bunch of cute outfits.
You a little spoon. Oh, yum, yum.
And that was the end of Cats
Cats and
vs.
Dogs.
There is...
About the ninja cats at all.
Seems clear.
Yeah, it's probably just a squirrel or something. I'll let Butch know.
Kid, behind you!
Sorry.
Oh, the Russian blue.
I'm on to you, kitty, and you're in big trouble.
I think not, baby puppy. It is you who is in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the Russian blue cat. Do you want to add to this? Because you're the one who recommended this. Do you remember more?
I saw it when it was in theaters in 2001, so I only remember that there were ninja cats.
Would you like to remember what the Russian ninja cat's name was?
What was it?
Dmitry Kennelkov.
Kennelkov? Are you kidding me? My notes, trying to decipher these notes, you guys. I'm just like, Cats drive limo. OMG. But how dangerous would a chemical spill like that be? Question mark.
That rhymes. That's a haiku.
These notes are fucking priceless. Cat Tracker
We're really
2000.
giving you the content you crave, aren't we?
There is a sequel to this called Revenge
Cats and
of-
Dogs 2. The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
So maybe in the future,
Hard pass.
I'm not going to do that.
We
to
are not
Matt.
doing
I'm
that.
not doing that to Matt quickly, but perhaps in a year or so we'll revisit our crew.
Hard pass. We've got other movies to talk about.
So yeah, so that was Cats and Dogs.
How many paws are you going to give this bomber?
Yikes. I'm going to give it a paw and a half.
I'm going to give it a big fat half a paw. Like I wanted to give it a
half
goose.
a paw?
I hated this. I strongly disliked
I was at least like entertained. Like I wasn't entertained the whole time, but I was at least like, what's going to happen next in this stupid movie?
You got to remember, I watched this stuff stone sober.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like there's been worse.
I mean, it wasn't technically as bad as Savage Sam, but I hated this more.
You hated this more than Savage.
Yeah, that was technically a worse movie, but
Boring,
I
though.
could.
This was at least there was explosion. It's like this is the type of thing that I watch this now, and I was like, I could get how like an 11-year-old in like 2001 would be stoked on watching this. Like, there's explosions, there's spy shit, there's ninja cats.
I'm giving that 11-year-old back to the orphanage.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Well, there you have it, Matt Lynch, you guys.
Yeah, heartless. Scrooge when it comes to cats and dogs.
Well, what do we have next though? Because you came upon a movie that we're gonna do next.
Yeah, I just heard about this one today, and it sounds awesome. It's called You Never Can Tell. I'm going to read the back of the box because this just sounds awesome. Okay. Dick Powell stars as a hard-boiled PI with a taste for kibble in this over-the-top screwball comedy. When an eccentric tycoon leaves $6 million to his faithful dog, King, trustee Ellen Hathaway, played by Peggy Dow, is besieged by fortune hunters when they learn she's next to inherit. After the German Shepherd is poisoned and Ellen's accused of the crime, King's spirit is granted special permission to go back to Earth in human form and help clear Ellen's name. Returning as Private Eye Rex Shepherd and aided by a former racehorse named Goldie, King puts his nose to the ground in a dogged attempt to sniff out his killer's name. You never can tell. This sounds great.
This is
and
interesting.
It's 78 minutes long.
Oh, beautiful. But this is also interesting because it sounds like most of it's going to be, we're going to be seeing like a spirit of a dog inside of a human rather than like a Shaggy DA situation.
No, I think it's going to be a guy walking around, but hopefully he'll do dog stuff.
Like,
like sniffing people's butts and pissing on the street.
All we want to see is him
butt
sniffing some
sniffing.
butts.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so tune in next episode for You Never Can Tell, and that
You
is
really
our
can't.
dog segment of the episode. Whew.
I should have a better name. I was thinking Toto Annihilation.
No, he's a pro wrestler. Sorry, that name's taken.
All right then, Doom Machine it is.
We did it.
All right, we did it.
55.
Episode 55 in the bag. Thank you guys so much for watching and for subscribing to our
Like and
YouTube
subscribe.
channel. Liking, comment below. Just say hey. If you're new, be like hey.
Vote for Raunch versus Rom.
Oh yeah, definitely vote for Raunch versus
Travis
Rom.
Voach.
Travis Voach. Shout out. In the comments, share us with your family and friends or on your social medias and whatever.
With your cats and dogs.
Find us on social media. I'm at eSauterback on Twitter, at whatever 0K at Instagram.
I am Colonel Mortimer on both of those.
And we are at Physical Viva for Twitter. Email us viva@scarecrow.com. Come by the store if you're in Seattle. We also do rent by mail. If you want to access our library from wherever in the country, you totally can. Scarecrow.com. Check it out. And
Until next
anything
time.
else? Until next time.
Viva.
Physical.
Viva. Physical media.
We got the movies. Blu-rays.
Get through. Mama, oh yeah, we kick butt.